so far different from the guy.
In what way?
You met 15, because I'm 33.
When you look at Allen, you say, hey, here's a free spirit guy.
Iverson.
Allen's life is a dream come true.
Where I go, you know, I hear about it the next day, like anywhere.
I think a big part of Allen's appeal is that he doesn't try to be appealing to anybody. He's just going through his life doing what he does.
Sort of heard about the legend of Bubba Chuck.
One of the best that ever played this game of basketball.
What's up? I'm Allen Iverson.
We're in here talking about practice.
This is my life, 365. When you talk about Allen Iverson, it's better to talk about something negative. It sells more.
I've taken a team and given it back to the fans.
No, I throw it back in so I can catch him again.
My Life 365 with your host, Ron Thompson.
People don't understand, I guess they probably understand it, but they try not to understand it because, you know, when you talk about Allen Iverson, it's better to talk about something negative. It sells more. Big headlines and bold print, Allen Iverson misses practice, or Allen Iverson is having a dispute with a coach. You know, that's the big headlines. But I understand it, I accept it. If a person have a perception of you, that's what you're gonna be. You know, and my whole thing is not trying to convince somebody that I'm a good person, that I care, and I care about if people think I'm a good guy. I'd be lying if I said, you know, I want everybody to think I'm the devil.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't want, but I don't go out of my way to prove that I am, you know, a good person.
Being a role model is not something that you can choose. You're chosen.
Yeah.
You're chosen to be that. So what I hear you saying is that as you've grown, you've kind of realized that a little bit.
I'm 33. I don't do the same things that I did, you know, when I was 23.
Right. You'd be a fool if you did.
Stone cold fool. I don't do those things no more, and I still make mistakes. I'm still human. I still look back on things and say, damn, I wish I didn't do it that way. I wish I would have did it another way.
As it stands, Allen Iverson is a convicted man required by law to be in jail.
That time was very interesting. I mean, you talking about a time where it was a situation happened in a bowling alley. And Allen, you know Allen, with his friends and all that, that's well noted. In that bowling alley situation there, he had one of the biggest problems that you could have. He had a problem where it was a situation where it was a fight. And now when it was a fight in this part, it was a racial fight.
I've seen young people here convicted for crimes that they've not committed over and over again.
People don't understand. Allen, they charged Allen with maiming a mob. That was a count that had been 50 years ago.
Maiming by mob.
Maiming by mob. What it used to be, back in the day, they had lynching. So they went back, the prosecutor went back, and they looked at this maiming by mob.
Boo, what was the climate like in Hampton from when Allen gets sentenced to when now he has to do jail time? What was the climate like in Hampton at that time period?
Tense. I mean, I don't know how else you say tense. We're taking this young black man with a future that's in the system now and incarcerated this young black male.
What was it like for you that day when you saw him after the sentencing walking out in handcuffs, headed to jail?
One of the worst days of my life. I had felt so betrayed by our city government that certified charges against 4 young men who I felt that they knew were not guilty of what they had been charged with.
Well, here's a young man that never been in trouble, no prior conviction, and he walks out with 15 years, had to serve 5. And it just, when with the handcuffs, you would say, it's over. I mean, at that time, you won't think, no way, you would say, nobody will come back from this.
What was going on in your mind while you were in there?
Scary. That's That's what comes to my mind off top when I think of that situation. Scary. Not scared of another inmate, not scared of another man, not scared of any COs. Scared of not having another opportunity to accomplish my goal, being a professional athlete. You know, I thought that it was taken all away from me, and it was tough. Just hoping for an opportunity. I was in there for almost 4 months, and for the first month, my lawyers had me thinking that I was gonna come home every single day for a month. Like, tomorrow, I think it'll be the day, you coming home. And then that day go by, then the next day, yeah, you'll be getting out tomorrow. And it went on for a month.
How did Doug Wilder impact your life?
He got me out of jail. I mean, he got me out of jail.
He stated clemency to him. So that's important too, because at that he still had that on his record.
I think he looked at the case, saw all the inconsistencies, the unfair treatment, and he made a decision based on what he thought was right.
Did he make you promise him anything when you got out?
No. You know what? He did by letting me out. Mm-hmm. I felt that he felt that by letting me out, I would make the best of my situation. I'm pretty sure that he knew what type of athlete I was, mm-hmm. and that I had a chance to do something positive with my God-given ability.
Coming up on My Life 365 with Ron Thompson.
This is an educational institution. It's a religious institution. If religion and education can't give a person another chance, what can?
Iverson just makes this steal there.
They're going to have to get Martin back into the game. Texas Tech, Iverson reverse layup, and it's good. Iverson with a step on the base. Oh! Iverson the steal. Boubacar
out! Oh, that's a young fella.
Describe your college coach, John Thompson.
Someone that actually saved my life. We wouldn't be in here doing this interview if it weren't for John Thompson. Wouldn't be no all-star games. Wouldn't be no millions of dollars. Wouldn't be no NBA finals. First team All-NBA scoring titles. First pick. Wouldn't been none of that.
Explain how he saved your life.
Because he gave me an opportunity when everybody turned their back on me.
How did Allen get to Georgetown? Was it a recruiting process?
What happened is that a committee of people from the Tidewater area contacted me through Boo Williams and said that they wanted to come up and talk to me about Allen Iverson.
I've talked personally with some colleges at that time, and big name coaches said, I cannot take him because my president would not let him in.
I was recruited by everybody in the country. Everybody in both sports, every single school in the country, in football and basketball. When I got in my situation in high school, it was over. Nobody else. Every single school stopped writing, stopped calling.
Back then, it was only a couple colleges that we could think of. And it was more, not so much the college, people. You had John Thompson and you had John Chaney. You had to have somebody that would be strong enough to fight the media, because the first person gonna come after you was the media.
They were worried about his well-being, and they were worried about you know, really his safety. Because when they came up to visit me, there was an interesting thing that happened. I was not showing as much interest, obviously, as she would have liked me, Mrs. Iverson would have liked me to have shown. And she asked the other people to get out of the room. She asked them when they leave. She said, I'd like to talk with Coach. And when they left, she said that, you know, they're gonna hurt my kid. And I don't think she meant in the literal sense that somebody was gonna shoot him or attack him in that manner. But I think she meant that it was a life-saving thing that she was trying to pursue for her son. And she was really in tears.
My mom came up here to DC, met with him, and you know, after that, you know, I had another opportunity in life. You know, I think, you know, God put him into my life.
People deserve a chance as long as they take advantage of it. And that's one of the things that I said to Alan. You know what I mean? That I'm willing to go along with this, but you've got to respond. I'm not going to compromise the school. I'm not going to compromise myself if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do.
Mike, how much of a risk was it for Georgetown, given everything that Allen had been through, for Georgetown and Coach Thompson to take out?
I remember thinking that at the time, you know, that it is a risk. Yet, I know from talking to Coach that it wasn't as much of a risk as it would have been for some places. It wasn't as big a risk as it would have been for a state school. At a private school, you have support systems in place, and he knew that, and he had support people at the top of the administration.
Once your dad made a judgment that this was a young man that we were willing to really give an opportunity to, and to have a say in his development, we were prepared to take on that challenge.
He put me in a position to succeed on a basketball court. You know, before then, everybody talked about Georgetown being a big man school and a guard couldn't thrive, you know, playing in that system, and I was successful in that system. So obviously, he knew what he was doing.
Texas Tech, Iverson reverse layup.
Iverson has it, and he scores.
You're older now, and obviously you guys still have a relationship. You don't talk as much. Do you miss him?
I feel like it's better when I don't talk to him, because when I do, I miss him more. And when I see him, I miss him that much more. Because, you know, I know you know, but with people that see him from afar, all they see is, you know, from coaching basketball is Big John, big dude, and he yelling and this, that, and the third. But just him being so authentic, just real, you know, just built from a different cloth, like telling you the way it is.
Sometimes what you say doesn't sound right. Sometimes what you say doesn't fit into today's society, because everybody in today's society are not going to be the first pick in the draft. They're not going to be a millionaire. So I couldn't afford to let him think that if he slacked back some, that I was going to understand that.
He would talk to me, you know, straight face. You know, you up here eating 3 times a day, and you sleeping in your warm room, and you got lights, warm water.
Your mom is down there in Tidewater. She's wondering where the next meal is coming from. She's wondering where the heat bill is going to come from.
They might not even eat today. They don't have no lights. They don't have warm water.
This lady who loves you dearly is down there suffering a hell of a lot of hardships than you are, so don't bring that in here to me.
You want to ruin your opportunity? You know, and right there, I would start bawling, because it was reality. Like, if you mess this situation up, after she came up here, if she didn't come up here, then you wouldn't be in this situation. But if you're going to mess this opportunity up to be able to take care of them while you up here living it up and not doing what you're supposed to do, and just like that, I could get myself right back on that straight line.
Coming up on My Life 365 with Ron Thompson.
I worked real hard to get here. I feel it was just a tribute to Coach Thompson and my family and friends, my teammates. Without them, I wouldn't even be here. It feels good.
With the first pick in the 1996 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Allen Iverson from Georgetown University.
I see how excited fans get all over the world. Nothing like Philly. That's what sports is about. When you think of sports, you think of Philadelphia fans. All fans should be like Philly fans, you know, as far as their dedication and how they feel about their sport. They love their sport, and they stick with their team, you know, till the end. The people that play in Philadelphia should cherish that, man, and should really feel good about, you know, the sport they have. It's definitely a sixth man in that gym. I had my ups and downs with them, you know. Towards the end, I really think after all those years, you know, some of the ones that loved me to death were getting fed up with all the bull that was going on involving me. You know, I think some my fault.
Backbone too strong. I've been through too much to let somebody with a pen and paper and a microphone and a camera kill me or drive Allen Iverson crazy.
Some, you know, people in the organization's fault.
If Allen feels that, you know, he doesn't want to practice and then he wants to play, it just doesn't work any longer.
I think the toughest thing for a black man to do is think before he react. You know, think when he angry. You know, that's where the whole practice thing came from.
We're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
Instead of me, you know, calming down,
right,
and before I do the press conference, I'm gonna go into the press conference right now, young and crazy, and
right,
and just rant. You know what I mean?
You react.
And react. And now it's so different for me when I'm involved with a situation. I make sure that I know that the hyenas are coming for me. I know that they're gonna ask me the question that's gonna make me mad. But it's about being intelligent enough and experienced enough to know how to handle the situations and do it the right way without making one story bigger because of how you reacted to, you know, the situation you put yourself in.
Coming up on My Life 365 with Ron Thompson.
There's an authenticness, an authenticity about Allen that really catches people.
Allen, getting traded is part of being in the NBA. When you got traded, talk a little bit about the transition and how that's been.
Obviously, I thought I was going to be a Sixer for the rest of my career, and this is my, second stop after that. So the first time, it was rough. It was rough just for the fact that my kids had been accustomed to being, my two older kids had been accustomed to being in Philly. That's all they ever knew. And then this time it was even tougher on me because it was tough on my kids.
The transition.
Yeah, because, after a while they had got accustomed to being in Denver. But for me as a player, I always look at it like, the team that trades for you, they want you.
Right.
And there's no better feeling to have, an organization that wants you and 20,000 more fans to embrace you. So, it was cool with me, but as far as my family, my kids, they struggle with it. My wife was cool with it. And after a while, once my kids got settled in, I'm cool with it.
You have the Allen Iverson Scholarship Program where you have endowments set up for historically black colleges. And also, you've given over hundreds of thousands of dollars to the gun buyback program in Newport News, Virginia. And as you said, people don't always want to know that aspect of Allen Iverson. I
have a chance to make a difference in somebody's life. And I'm not talking about hundreds and thousands of people. If it's just one person, then, I did something, I accomplished something. I get to put somebody in school, maybe help themselves and their family, and buying the guns back, getting another gun off the street, $100,000, $100 a gun, you can get a lot of guns off the street.
Once he turned professional, okay, I know that one of the things that he wanted to give other kids was the mindset that they could dream as well.
It's for the fact that I'm able to do that, for somebody else, and it's a big thing for me. I don't need the praise as far as, a write-up in the paper or anything. Just a thank you from them, or not even that, just knowing that they, they appreciate it because it's helping them.
And it makes you feel damn good. You sit and look at it, you say, look at that boy set that screen. Look at him rebound. Look at him run that court. Look at Allen drop 40 on them suckers.
I'll just try to carry it out to the fullest.
Even practice?
Practice? We talking about practice?
When you saw Isaiah be willing to take 80 stitches from an elbow to the head from Karl Malone and come back and play the next week, you knew. And Allen is just that tough, if not tougher.
All you gotta do is look at somebody else in your family and the mistakes that they've made, look at the mistakes that you made in your life, and, look in the mirror and say, well, before I judge Allen Iverson, I have to look at myself.